back into the Sean podcast. It's I, the Big Ush. Boom. Is he that cat daddy? We were both celebrating. One of us, snacks. Another cameo. One of us is celebrating a little bit more than the other. So, people, yeah, you notice I haven't asked Cat Daddy what's on his mind because it doesn't matter what's on your mind. One of us currently is a universe supreme ruler for at least 1 week. And I will celebrate however the hell I want to. Now, if everybody was wondering what is going on here, why is Big Ush going nuts? Because me and Cat Daddy are in the same league. And one of us literally systematically destroyed the entire league this week with possibly the greatest single game, I guess, scoring of all time. To make it into the playoffs, he did not get the bye he was hoping for, but he did get most points in the league by over 150 points. Now, that being said, Cat Daddy, you made it into the playoffs also. Good for you.
Why are we
yourself on the back?
What? Hold up. I'm not sure why we're minimizing this. But we both got to the playoffs. This should be something that we celebrate. I had to sweat it out a little bit more than you did, but my team got there.
A foregone conclusion after Thursday night.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna. Playoffs aside.
Jump right into it.
Playoffs aside. No, well, I'm throwing a little bit of an audible on you. Playoffs aside. Cat Daddy had someone that he felt was number one. He called him 1A. And I had someone I felt was number one. Cat Daddy called him 1B. 1B got me in the playoffs. 1A, you're probably on the outside looking in if you drafted 1A. It's not your fault. 1A actually had some really good games, but looks like he's turned out to have some injury history about to pop up. And 1B, did have some injuries, but apparently this guy's Superman. Cat Daddy, would you like to inform the people on 1A and 1B?
No, I think you'll enjoy this more.
So 1A was Christian McCaffrey. And again, I wasn't poo-pooing on Christian McCaffrey. He was my number 2 guy. Clear number 2. Not 1A, 1B, clear number 2. My clear number 1 was Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook came to play when it was important to come to play. And here's the thing. This is the concept that we're looking at. Yes, if you look at some of our preseason rankings, a lot of Cat Daddy's guys probably over the course of the year probably were better than mine. But that being said, down the stretch right now, my guys are showing up. One of which, Cat Daddy's going to be very happy that I bring this up. He already knows where I'm going. You can see the laughter right there. So, we had a tight end series. Where we had a bit of an argument. It was like one of the first heated debates on the Sean show. And yes, I will give Cat Daddy his due. His guy, Travis Kelce, has been consistent the majority of the year. But when it comes in time for when he's needed him, where has he been, Cat Daddy? Where has he been?
He hasn't been where I wanted him to be. Now, if you remember early in the season, I was high on Travis Kelce. I drafted him in the first round in our league, and for a lot of people, if you drafted Travis Kelce in the first rounds,
You did well.
yeah, you did well, but there were some times down the stretch where it's like, well,
And
he
then
could
he
have
fell
cost
off
your
a
team.
freaking cliff.
He could have cost your team the game. So there is a good chance that if you drafted Kelce in the first rounds, you may be on the outside looking in at the playoffs. But this is where it comes to drafting and drafting wisely, because the rest of my team was able to pick up during those weeks when he wasn't performing. So drafting outside of the first round is much more important.
Now, to be fair to Cat Daddy here, my guy was George Kittle. And I honestly don't believe you would have had to draft George Kittle in the first round. I think the third to fourth round you could have got him.
I know. But if we're adding, disclaimer in here, there were already tight end talent being kept in our league. So
I'll get there.
Okay. Just make sure we're going to throw that out there.
Just want to say in proper redraft leagues, and you know something, for the majority of this year, he was probably disappointing for you. But if you stayed firm and you believed, the last 5 of the last 6 weeks, holy moly, George Kittle has been a monster. Especially the last 3 weeks, Sean?
Especially 2 weeks where he's totaled 22, 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns.
But in our particular league, somebody had the foresight to I'm gonna back this up. This is why you listen to me, because there's a certain individual 4 years ago drafted George Kittle in super late rounds because nobody knew who the heck he was. But I watched games and I saw this dude who was catching everything. I'm like, something, that George Kittle guy is going to be good. So I drafted him in super late rounds, and I've been keeping him for the last 4 years. So yes, I had him in the 10th round. That's beautiful value. So if you're in a keeper league, make sure that you watch games and you look out for guys who are being productive. For example, I got through a trade because somebody needed a running back. I've got Dawson Knox in like the second to last round coming up. That is beautiful value because Dawson Knox is going to be a stud. He actually is a stud. So hey, that's how we roll. All right, so we're just going to give you some nuggets about the nuggets like that, every episode coming up. Just going back to some of the guys that we were high on. I just want to mention one more from our tight end series. Sean, Cat Daddy. Yes, cash and receipts on you today. My bad. I'm sorry. You're going to get me on a different day. Just want to ask you.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Mark Andrews for the season?
Actually, let me see if I can pull up my note real quick about Mark Andrews. Let's see what I got.
Was he in your top 5?
Let's see. My top 5 was
in your top 5.
Was Kelce, Waller, Kittle, Hawkinson, Pitts, Goddard, and then I had Mark Andrews as number 7. I'm a little bit lower on Andrews than I should be or want to be. He is one of Jackson's favorite targets. He led his team in receiving yards per game last season.
This whole report.
That's what you want to see. Hey, I'm going to cash my own receipts. However, his team has not been kind in the passing game, and they will continue to be a run-first team until the targets increase for Andrews. I can't feel good about him.
Just ask.
Did the targets increase? They did. He's at 109 targets right now, which is tied for first among tight ends with Travis Kelce.
He is.
So it looks like my statement rights. Technically it was all right. I had him lower than he should be, or I want him to be.
And where did I have him?
I don't got your notes up in front of me.
I had him at number 4.
Number 4, yeah.
Pretty sure I had him at number 4.
Wow. Well, I also had Kyle Pitts a little higher than you did, and he's turned out pretty well this year.
He has.
Mm-hmm.
He has. This is true. But I did have Kyle Pitts in the top 10, did I not? He's number 10.
Yep.
But I am in the top 10.
Shoot. Man, we're going to revisit all the tight ends right now, aren't we?
Now, here's the thing. There is one guy who's in the top 10 of tight ends that neither of us had up there. Dalton Schultz.
Oh, where is Dalton Schultz for me?
He was way down there, let's be honest. He was, what, 15?
Yeah, he was nowhere to be found. Yeah. Dawson Knox.
Hey.
We didn't have Dawson Knox near our top 10.
Let's see. Pitts. Now, no, I'll give you my... All right, no, we'll go through the top 10. I actually had Andrews number 5. I had Mike Gesicki, who someone's been trying to ride all the last, 4 weeks.
Get it right.
One of my guys got injured. I had Tanya in mine, but I had Goddard also in mine, who you did not have in yours.
Wait, who'd you have?
Goddard.
I had Goddard at 6.
Oh, yeah, you did have Goddard at 6. You did have Herb Smith Jr., which I'm not knocking you for, just like don't knock me for Robert Tonyan. But Everett and Komet are both misses on both of us.
Well, you had Komet higher than I did. I had Everett at 10.
You had Everett at 10. That's a miss, though.
I didn't have him there, though. Because my 10 went Kelce, Wall, Kittle, Hopkinson, Pitts, Goddard, Andrews, and then I had Gesicki, Irv Smith Jr., Gerald Everett.
Right. And mine was Kittle, Kelce, Waller, Gesicki, Andrews, Hawkinson, Tanyan, Goddard, Komet, and Pitts. Neither of us were terrible.
I still think mine's better. But yeah, neither of us is terrible.
I mean, Waller getting injured doesn't help either. But getting to the receipts for this week, which one of us did better than the other.
Sure did. Oh, man.
So I'm going to start. My trust. I put Aaron Rodgers out there. I shot my shot. And I won. Because what does Aaron Rodgers do, Sean?
He owns the Bears.
He owns the Bears. And what did he do this weekend?
Still
he owned the Bears. Then Javonte Williams. Even with Melvin Gordon getting in the way, Javonte Williams had a hell of a game. Then Amari Cooper. I'm taking this as a win. 50 yards and a touchdown? Yeah, I'm taking it as a win.
Mm-hmm.
George, do I even need to mention this? Do I?
Nope.
10 catches, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns? Good Lord. But Lamar Jackson, I'm sorry, Lamar. I'm sorry, Lamar, but I was right. James Robinson, I think I was right again. Elijah Moore, I mean, this one, I don't even feel good about being right about. And Dalton Schultz, again, right. 100%! 100%! Ah! Now let's get to you.
Do we have to? Man.
Dak Prescott. I'm sorry.
I felt good coming into this weekend's games. I'm like, I feel good about this.
I should have told you. I wish you would have told me beforehand so I could have told you no. Because the time to go for Dak Prescott against Washington is at home, not on the road.
Yeah, Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys was hugely
disappointing. If you want to do it next week, which I'm telling everybody right now, I'm picking Dak Prescott against Washington next week. Just saying. I'm going to do it because it's at home.
Yeah. Dak Prescott wasn't bust for me. Alexander Madison went off. He had 205 yards, two
No, that was
touchdowns.
Dalvin Cook.
I nailed. Wait, what?
That was Dalvin Cook. You said this before you knew Dalvin Cook was Superman.
Yep.
You forget? No, not Superman. Wolverine. He had that Wolverine super healing.
Apparently, dislocated shoulder, torn labrum. It doesn't matter if it's Pittsburgh tackling.
Minnesota has a Lazarus pit.
So
Man,
all of those,
all my geekiness right there.
all of those yards and touchdowns should have belonged to Alexander Madison, but I will take my loss. Next up is Deontay Johnson.
I don't know if this is a win or a loss. He had 75 yards, 76.
He ended up with 7, no more than 8 points. That's a loss. No, it's a hugely disappointing game. Drew double-digit targets, which was expected. It was only 10. I was hoping for the 13 variety that he's been seeing, but instead, Roethlisberger wanted to throw to Chase Claypool instead, which really just
McLeod, Ray McLeod.
So that was disappointing. But
then you piggybacked on my guy.
George Kittle, because it was Mike Gesicki's bye week. Went with Kittle. Turned out I actually got this one right. 13 catches, 151 yards, touchdowns. You feel good about Kittle this week. And then my not trust, I had Cousins. Now I'm not sure if this is a win.
I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna give you a win. He didn't throw for that much. He had 2 touchdowns, but he had 2 interceptions. You can take that one.
No.
All his don't trust worked out for you.
Well, not the last one. I'll get to that one shortly.
No, the last one did.
Well, we'll see. David Montgomery against the Packers only got 42 yards on the ground, 39 through the air. I knew Green Bay was going to shut him down. They did. Marquise Brown, aided by the injury to Lamar Jackson, you would think, but Huntley was still throwing the ball. Targeted 8 times, 5 catches, 41 yards. Importantly,
but he threw to the better receiver.
Rashad Bateman, no touchdowns. And my tight end not to trust that we may disagree on is Gerald Everett's
15 yards and a touchdown.
That's still 7 points from a tight end.
I guess that's on you if you want to take that L.
All right, hold on. Let me find out how many tight ends scored a touchdown last week.
I can do that.
Let me see what we got. Who scored touchdowns?
See who's faster.
No. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. 10 tight ends scored touchdowns last week.
That's quite a bit.
Only about 6 of them were owned on rosters because you have Denver's second tight end whose last name I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, but how many had No. Let's look at the tight end points though. Oh yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. He still ended up with, in our league, would have been a top 6 performance. So the touchdown was huge for him.
It was.
So I'm taking the loss.
Briar Move, why couldn't you have gotten over him? All right. Next up, we're going to do our for next week. And I'm going to go first. My QB to trust, Matthew Stafford versus the Seahawks. Seahawks aren't good. And the Rams are feeling it, so I think they're going to keep it going. My running back to trust, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that the Chiefs are going to have to run the ball, and I think he's going to run the ball well. My wide receiver to trust, DeAndre Hopkins. Bounce back game here. Going to need this one. Detroit, oh, they can't stop him. And my tight end to trust. I had to not ride my boy this week. I think he's going to blow up again because you know who Kittle's playing, right? You know who Kittle's playing, right?
San Fran Drew.
Atlanta.
Oh, man.
But I didn't go that route. I wasn't trying to go easy. So I said Dawson Knox versus Carolina. Sean's like, that's not going easy. Who's your to trust?
All right. Trust Kyler Murray. Yes.
Agreed.
Kyler Murray was probably outscored by both Mike Glennon and Davis Mills in your leagues last week. And
Davis Mills went off.
yeah. And no, Kyler Murray has not looked like the early season elite version of himself. But
we're not saying what's wrong with Kyler Murray.
No, just Dak Prescott.
That is a Dak Prescott joke, by
the
way.
Just Dak Prescott. But you're thinking it's 2 games back. He was rusty against Chicago. There was the weather. He faced the Rams defense. Okay, well, this week, the get-right matchup against the Detroit's at Ford Field. So he's playing indoors. He's avoiding the inclement weather. And this Detroit defense just lost one of their better quarterbacks. So I think this is a get-right game for Kyler Murray. Don't overthink it. Get him in your lineup. Running back to trust, and I don't feel good about this because of Urban Meyer. I've got James Robinson. And again, I say Urban Meyer because of his gross mismanagement of his roster, his talent.
He really doesn't like James Robinson.
I don't know why. No. Cameo. So last week against the Texans, Rashad Penny looked like a first-round draft pick, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. If James Robinson can get a fraction of those touches, he can put up some good numbers against Houston. Speaking of Jaguars and Texans, my wide receiver to trust is going to be Brandon Cooks. During week 1, he put up 5 catches, 132 yards with Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback. So we're going to have a slightly different Houston team this week. But he's been seeing a lot of targets from Davis Mills.
He is seeing a lot of targets.
It's an away game, and he plays better at home, but it's against the Walking Dead. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I feel good about Brandon Cooks. And my tight end to trust is Mike Gesicki because
if it's going to happen, it's this week.
Exactly. Mike Gesicki is going to be in this spot until he earns his way out of this segment. And this is the best opportunity for him to get off my list. I really want him off my list this week.
All right. For my not to trust. And yes, you guys can say whatever you want to say. Did I ride my hot hand? I know I didn't ride my hot hand with George Kittle. But when it comes to QBs I don't trust, I am riding my hot hand. So any QB facing the New England Patriots, I do not trust. So Carson Wentz, no thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, running backs not to trust. I'm going with Antonio Gibson because I think Philly's going to understand the QB situation in Washington is bad. In a word, it's bad. Gibson is already in the hot seat and giving up fumbles. So all they need to do is make him fumble once for Ron Rivera to say, heck no, he's not going back in that game.
Give him the hook.
Dallas, had him at what? I think, 20 yards on the game total and a fumble? I think Philly's going to be keying in on him. Philly's got some good defensive tackles. We'll see how that goes. My wide receiver not to trust. Brace yourself, Sean. Mike Evans going against the New Orleans defense. They're going to shut somebody down, and I think it's going to be Mike Evans. I think, why am I blowing a blank on this man's name? The other receiver.
Chris Godwin.
I think Chris Godwin is the better player. And I think Mike Evans' style of play matches up very well with Lattimore in terms of Lattimore being able to shut him down. And then my tight end, not to trust. Guess what? Same game. Rob Gronkowski against the Saints. They have really good linebackers and really good safeties. Sean, you're not trust.
Starting off quarterback, do not trust Taysom Hill against Tampa Bay. Don't do it. I know it's tempting, the rushing yards, the rushing touchdowns, but let's get one thing straight. The Jets are not the same as the Bucs. And he looks ugly passing the ball. So when the Bucs shut down his running game, he's going to be forced to throw. It's not going to be pretty. Start at your own risk. Staying in that game, running back next trust. Leonard Fournette. Yeah, he's had a strong couple of weeks, but that Saints defense is strong against the run, and I have a feeling Tom Brady's out for revenge for the Halloween loss. Wide receiver not to trust is DJ Moore going up against the Buffalo Bills secondary.
You ain't learned my lesson.
What's that?
Do not go against DJ Moore.
Oh, I'm going to find out this week. I'm going to learn my lesson this week. Buffalo's defense was torched by Tom Brady last week. And Cam Newton is no Tom Brady. So DJ Moore has benefited from double-digit targets the past couple of weeks. But I don't feel good about his production because of who's playing quarterback. We're still going to roll with Cam Newton. I still don't think he's a good quarterback. So I don't feel good about DJ Moore. And my tight end not to trust is TJ Hawkinson going against Arizona, because Arizona's done a pretty good job of limiting the production that the tight end gets. So I think he's going to have a hard day.
Well then, people. This should be, for most, first week of the playoffs. So congrats to you for making the playoffs. For you other ones, still hoping for that shot, good luck to you. Hopefully you get what you need. If you need any advice, you can always get at us. The Cat Daddy, Instagram and Twitter. Josh Elliott, Instagram and Twitter. Say what's up. Sean, anything left to be said?
Words of wisdom. You guys know the drill. I get my trust, not trust, right about 50% of the time. So you just have to decipher which ones I'm right on, which ones I'm not. That part's up to you.
Hey, at this point, I'm shooting 100%. So hey. All right. All I got to say to you, you in the playoffs, this is the time to do it. Take no prisoners. Get it done.